In an earlier video, we established that the Hawks are an up-and-coming team in the East with lots of weapons. But the only true way of figuring out how far along they are is to go up against the best of the best. And the Brooklyn Nets welcomed them into the arena, found themselves in a battle for their lives, and despite some late-game heroics by Kyrie Irving, it's time to announce with clear eyes and full hearts that the Hawks have most definitely arrived. When examining all the made shots from both of these teams, and there were a lot, I started to notice a pattern in terms of what they were running to get so many scoring opportunities. Let's look at the 21 series, also known as Pistol, from the Nets. This one starts with the early wing entry pass. The passer follows his pass to the outside looking for the handoff. However, Shamet can't fake this and dribble off the ball screen from the trailing big. Cam Reddish should never be going underneath the ball screen for Shamet, and here's the reason why. The next progression out of this action is that Shamet can pass to Jordan at the top of the key. He then sets a pin down for LeVert, who comes off the handoff attacking the middle, getting the kind roll off the 2-foot jump floater. A third option is to dribble towards the wing and hand off. However, Joe Harris explodes backdoor when Solomon Hill is too high, and LeVert slips the pass to him for the layup. The Hawks scored off of their 21 series as well, with Rondo showing the handoff at the wing option, flowing into an inside ball screen. But the Nets blow this up with a terrific switch as LeVert leaves Hill to pick up the ball, and Prince is right there to pick Hill up on his cut. This eventually turns into a step-up screen, and Huerter navigates to the block for the easy 12-footer. I've talked about the double pin down being the latest fad in the NBA this season already, and we get the Nets running it for Landry Shamet. Rondo can't get around the second screen in time, and Capella is a step slow, rotating to protect the rim, getting there just in time to goaltend the shot. The Hawks run this same action, but watch how Reddish curls early around the first screen. DeAndre Jordan gets caught imitating a statue, while the Hawks get another layup. Next up, the Nets like to run a lot of double ball screens out top, especially with Durant as the first screener. This puts maximum pressure on the defense to switch properly. Watch Hill chase LeVert with Huerter switching onto KD. Then Capella picks up the ball coming around the second ball screen, but Solomon Hill takes one too many steps towards the ball before hurrying to switch on to Jarrett Allen, who rolls right to the front of the rim where Bogdanovic gets there just in time to foul him for the and one. This time, the Hawks only switched the first ball screen, which allowed Capella to stay in the lane and make this lob pass a lot harder. When I coach defense, the first order of business is to move in the direction of the ball, which would have had Bogdanovic getting to this spot once the ball was passed. That means he would have been in much better position to close out to Taurean Prince in the corner. The Hawks have this action in their package as well, and I love this option. Bogey is the first screener, and LeVert thought this was going to be a switch. But we know Rondo isn't a huge threat to turn the corner and look to score. So Collins focuses only on screening Bogdanovic's man as he snaps back around that pin down to find himself wide open for one of his 6 threes in the game. The Hawks do a good job switching only the second ball screen, enabling Collins to stay on Allen. But check the flow as this becomes a flare cut for Prince. I bet Allen was supposed to set the screen here too, but no matter as Prince hits the nice pull-up for 2 of his 12 points. Trae Young has got Kyrie all out of position as he runs the attack across the top with 2 ball screens. The problem is, all 3 defenders go to the ball. And check the gorgeous hesitation with the feet, allowing Young to sneak all the way to the basket for the beautiful inside hand finish. But Kyrie was not to be outdone. At a crucial part of the fourth quarter, he gets the double ball screen, Collins is forced to switch onto him, and Kyrie hits him with the legal sidestep as the dribble ends here with his left foot already down, and then he is allowed to take a step with his right foot, plant the left foot beside it, and jump into the air to release the ball right down into the net. I have no doubt Steve Nash has pored over endless data to figure out how best to construct the Nets offense to allow KD and Kyrie to generate the best shots possible. And I'm sure he's wasted valuable time poring over spreadsheets that don't give him the info he desperately needs. You might feel the same way running your business, as you've outgrown QuickBooks and need more analysis than your outdated spreadsheets can provide. NetSuite can solve all your problems by eliminating wasteful spending on multiple systems and platforms, as it will give you all the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place, instantaneously. It would be like an NBA team having me do a breakdown of each and every one of their games, finished immediately when the final buzzer sounded. Join the over 24,000 companies using NetSuite by Oracle and let the world's #1 cloud business system work for you. NetSuite can show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/CoachNick. So click on my special link in the description and schedule that tour so you can find more success in your business, just like the Nets do by making the flare cut and screen a staple of their offense, as they generated 4 scores off of it last night. Watch Jordan erase Young with his back screen, good overhead pass from KD right on time and target, so Joe Harris gets a great look for one of his 6 threes on the night. Here's another popular set most NBA teams run. Harris sets a step-up screen for Kyrie first, then uses the Allen flare screen to get open at the top of the circle. Because Young had to step up to impede Irving's progress first, he's woefully behind this cut, and Gallinari was stuck dropping down on the right side, worrying about Kyrie's drive. Here's the same play that was defended a little better when Hunter switches on to Harris on that flare, but they catch Reddish not paying attention until it's too late. Must be nice to just reverse it to Kevin Durant, who instantly forces the rotation before shuffling it to Jordan for the dunk. The high pick and roll is the most common set every team runs, and the Hawks with Young on ball are no exception. They drop and chase this, with Jordan doing a good job to smother Young in the lane and also being aware of Capella's role. Harris takes too long of a route to recover, leaving Young to face up and hop into a wide-open 13-footer. Same pairing here out top, only with Kyrie on Young this time. While Harris tries to tag Capella, it's really Durant who should be in the lane trying to stop this lob. Young has 4 feet of space to loft it up there, and Capella drops it through easy. I really like this action between the Hawks' 2 best players. Young passes up to Collins out top, follows it back for the handoff, then twists back into the ball screen. Again, Young can get into the lane unimpeded, Allen is in no man's land, and Collins might get tired of dunking so much this season. The Hawks show a pin down for Huerter before Fernando turns around to set the high ball screen. This is contained well enough, but notice that Shamet is guarding a marksman in Bogdanovic. He cannot be in this type of early help 1 pass away like this and hope to get back in time to prevent the open shot from being taken. As a result, he's then lured into swiping at the ball, and it's an easy pass by Trey, open shot by Bogey. Here's another nice set where they slip the ball screen by Bogdanovic before flowing right into the ball screen by Collins near the elbow. On the roll, it's Prince's job to bump down and pick him up. He barely takes a step in that direction before Rondo throws the gorgeous fling across the court over 35 feet on the numbers for the wide open Solomon 3 before the defense can even get close. When examining how individual lineups did in this game, it certainly jumps off the page how well the starters did in their 10 minutes, which makes me wonder why Coach Pierce didn't give them just a few minutes more. With this 5, it was Cam Reddish who led them in scoring, and you'd better keep your eye on him since he's about to break out. He's shown real improvement on his 3-point shot to the point where you can't just give him too much space off the pick and roll. And with that in mind, KD closes out to take away the shot, and it allows Reddish a straight line drive for the beautiful step around reverse to keep the Hawks in the game late. Another lineup that destroyed the Nets in 7 minutes was 4 reserves around John Collins. Bogdanovic was lighting it up for 3 of his triples in this lineup as they pushed the floor, and although KD was closer, Prince tries to get there too late and gets the unwarranted glare from Durant. But Prince does get confused in transition later and doesn't pick up his man at the top of the key, and Rondo simply will not miss finding the open shooter with a good pass to allow him to knock it down. John Collins led this 5 in scoring, and this solid back screen should have been switched. Instead, Prince stays glued to the shooter, Allen is stuck, and like I said, Rondo will not miss finding the open man. The Nets were able to pull this out because Kyrie, who had opened the game shooting a lousy 3 for 15, detonated in the fourth quarter, hitting 7 out of 11 and willing them to victory. They were all out of the high pick and roll, where his artistry and incredible skill were all put on display, leaving the Hawks defenders desperately trying to keep up, but woefully off balance for these buckets. It must have hurt Hawks fans to watch this excellent defensive possession go to waste. Watch how denying the pass to KD disrupts everything and forces Kyrie to take matters into his own hands, rising up to hit this 35-footer to extend the lead with 2 minutes left. But the Hawks have a chance to redeem themselves tomorrow on New Year's Day. And one of the benefits of this strange season and life that we're all living is that teams get to play 2-game miniseries. And I cannot wait for the rematch. If you like this video, you're going to love my new YouTube membership. There are 3 tiers to choose from, all with tremendous bonus content, including private watch parties. Join me for the next time these two play, and you can come on the show as well. You in?